Divine greetings, entities, energies, the lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers, all those seekers and sojourners of truth, those who are transiting through time, the 144 frequency ascendants, the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few, those who are the rising stars. You know who you are, the rising temples, the rising timekeepers, the rising lighthouses, those who are stepping into the next level. And let me not forget the 369ers, those spiritual leaders that are taking the next step, that are hearing the call and saying yes to the universe so the universe can say yes to you. The reflections are really being shown right now as we are walking through the halls of a mentee, and we are allowing those mirrors to reflect to us and show us the illusions so that we can break them. The purpose of that. Ashe. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5. Number 5. From my heart to yours, showing you, sharing you the light. And as usual, this time in particular, I bring you the news to infuse, the galactic, the cosmic news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light. Ashe. And at a time like this, know that you can refuse, but please be prepared to be fried on the grid. Right? Particularly, you're going to be feeling it now in the the months coming up, couple of months coming up, particularly that November. But we shall be seeing the particulars. Ashe. So let me get right into it. There's a couple of things I have to do, a little sweeping first, a little touch up, a correction of the previous video, and reminding us about the calendars. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare, hit that notification button, so that we can get the energetic algorithms going and reaching those in the remote places where they may be, who are looking for the lighthouses and the light colonies, that are finding their way, that are coming online and just needing to connect. So let's light it up on a light grid for them. With that said, I want to speak particularly, there's a couple of things, but particularly about Sophia. And this is with the understanding that the redemption of Sophia is the remembering of our soul. This is my Cazimi today. This is what the Cazimi brought me today. Today's the 31st, and it is the Mercury retrograde Cazimi. The Cazimi is the retrograde Mercury with the sun. Right? That's the Cazimi, is when it aligns exact conjunct with the sun, in the center of the sun. Right? So it is lighting up. Remember, the sun brings everything into the outer world. It's our outer world affairs, as the moon is our inner world. And so, of course, whatever Mercury's retrograde was bringing through for us, it's bringing it to the outer world. So it may be some messages. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything that's going on in your life, particularly right now. It can be bringing you the messages. Case in point, my point, bringing the Gnostic messages to the forefront. And it's something that's been coming up lately, the past couple of months, this whole Sophia, and I've been kind of like, not really dodging it, but just like, okay, because I'm on my spiritual mission, and I'm not the one to look for names of particular names of gods. Let's say that, like, oh, it's this, people arguing, oh, it's this, it's called that, it's called Sophia, it's really this, and it's just like, look, God is God, because it's just all the great order of divinity, and we in our human minds are doing our best to understand these concepts. I get it. I don't like to be hooked on certain names particularly. So I was kind of looking at it, with a side eye. But the fullness of it, oh, Djehuti done did his job today, knowing that Mercury represents Djehuti, for those who don't know. As well as the house of Gemini is known on our 5D calendar. That month is known as Djehuti. The mental month, the messenger month, the month of the messenger, communication. That's usually what Gemini represents, as well as Mercury. It's why Mercury rules Gemini as well. So the messenger Djehuti, that some may call Thoth, was really bringing forth some information um, about Sophia, and I'm going to talk more about it. But before I go into that, let me speak particularly into what is coming up, what we have coming up on the 2nd, from the 2nd through the 8th. As we are walking through the halls of Amenti, a few of us will gather together. It will be online, of course, and I'm inviting those who choose to. Some have already said yes, so we'll see you when we reach that point. So the previous live I spoke about this, and the previous live that I gave was more of an initiation activation, giving us the initial activation of where we are within this week from the 26th through the 1st in regards to Lionsgate or Halls of Amenti. So it was this initiation activation for those of us who are walking through the Halls of Amenti, known as the Lionsgate, in preparation for the active participation in the temple activation of the Ascension in Time transmission, which is what we'll be doing, which will be from, as I said, from the 2nd to the 8th. So that's because we are transmissioning. This is a transmission in time. So this part of the activation would be more of a, let's say, a temple activation for those rising temples, the temples that we are, and we're activating our temples. So just as a Sirius star aligns with the temples, and just imagine this information being exchanged like no other. So it's getting really into the thick of it, into the meat of it, the middle section of this Halls of Amenti from the 26th of July to the 12th. So the first week is as I said, more initial and preparation. And so the information I gave was to prepare those who are walking in through these halls, whether you do it with us or not, but just to give you the information and prepare with what it is that we could be doing to better set ourselves in a better place to receive these light codes and traverse to the next level. So this activation that we're doing, specifically those who will be walking with us through those from the 2nd through the 8th. This activation is to help metabolize the light codes and engage with the higher frequencies for a more true integration, right, into the next timelines of the 5D shift, because this is a major shift that we're partaking in. This is really giving us the codes to help us transit into this shift. So it's geared towards helping us to, as I said, the most important part is metabolizing these light codes, because the light codes are coming and we need to be able to break it down, through the nervous system, through the body, through the mind-body complex. And there's ways to go about it, which is why I shared that information in a video about what you can be doing to eat eat foods that are light foods, because they help to release rather than be a blocker in your system. It helps the flow of light energy and information. Ashe? So, and with that, one more correction. Is there anything else I need to tighten up? Okay, one more correction from that video. I believe I said something about disillusion, right? With something that I said about spiritually disillusioned under those who are doing more of spiritual entertainment. And I didn't mean to say disillusion, I meant to say illusioned. These are really their spiritual illusions that keep them in those places, right? By leaning on their own concepts that are out of alignment but using spiritual bases, if that makes sense. Those are the ones that are under illusion. So I didn't mean to say disillusioned, because the ones who are disillusioned are us, the chosen ones. The ones who are disarming the illusions are the disillusions, because we're no longer in the illusion activity, the intrusions of illusion. So those are the ones who are really disillusioned. I wanted to make sure I clear that up. And with that said, let's go right into some of what is coming up And we'll be speaking more of this Sophia energy as this came on today. In the Cazimi, as I said, more was just being highlighted, and we're going to go into the depths of it, and it's going to help us because as a part of this activation, as it was being shown to me, is that we are going depths into the depths of our soul, and to retrieve certain things in our karmic imprint, to receive let's call it transcripts in the soul, and we're going that deep, and it's the remembering. As I said, it's to have a soul synapses and activate the remembering. So this remembering of the soul is the redemption of Sophia. For those who understand it, look it up if you haven't looked it up before. But we're going to go deep into the esoteric meaning, because this is the redemption. This is what's happening. That divine energy that has been pouring in since 2020 actively, and we're seeing subtle changes. And I've spoken about the feminine energy previously, that especially while we were going through Sun in Cancer and Jupiter entering into Cancer, and I was speaking about that feminine energy that needs to be healed, the maternal energy that needs to be healed to unlock the key codes to allow the flow of the divine masculine to create, to be in its creative mode in the way that it should. A lot of the creative activity, even among spiritual people, are blocked right now. It's like you got but this far, and then it's like they can't get past a certain level because their masculine energy within them, whether they are male or female, the masculine energy, which is also the creative activity, is blocked because the feminine energy has not healed itself enough. And by heal, I mean have a true revelation. It has not healed itself enough to release the keys to the memories that are going to unlock and unblock the flow of this creative activity and this creative force and energy. So the creative mobility, the mobility coming from that aspect, is kind of blocked, if that makes sense. So this Sophia energy, which represents the divine feminine at a whole deeper level, of where we come from, speaking of the ethers and so forth, it is to redeem this Sophia energy. And this is what the rise, as it's been coming up, and we're feeling it more, and it's going to happen even more galactically, so cosmically speaking. It is an archetypal energy, the Christos and the Sophia. So it's not just the Sophia by itself, but the Sophia energy has been blocked. It has been erased. It has been beaten down, especially through the patriarchal rules, and the misappropriations of the masculine energy. So there has been this suppression of Sophia, but it is rising like the phoenix, like rising out of the ashes. And it is those of us who are participating in our soul's awakening, who are having the soul synapses, and who are activating in our codes in a certain way, where we are bringing forth this energy that is the rise, the redemption of Sophia. And this is if we'd have to go with the storyline to see where it actually comes from. And when you listen to the story, you have to listen with keen ears, because this is very allegorical. This is very esoteric to understanding the energies from the beginning of time. And it's where I would always say that there is the two within the one, and that two, that duality, that energy, is the masculine feminine energy, the creative receptive activity, and the Christos and Sophia energy. The Christos, of course, being the masculine, and the Sophia being the feminine. So there's this duality, but it's not a clash of duality. It is the harmony of duality. It is the yin and the yang. It is the two that works for the one mind consciousness. The two is the one. And I'm just going to say it just like how I explained it to someone earlier. The two, there is no you without the two. You are one person, you are one entity, but there is no you without the two, because the two is the plus and the minus charge in you. It is the duality. The duality is the mobility of the soul. Let me put it that way. And the duality, not just of the soul, the duality is the mobility of the one mind consciousness. So it is this that is this receiving creative activity that is the moving factor of the one mind consciousness throughout space and time, throughout time, space, reality. So it has its part to play in our existence, even in our, especially in our manifestation. For us to exist, it has to be that harmony of duality. So they have this story of Sophia being the fallen, and they speak of her as if she's the fallen angel. And we'll go deeper into this, believe me. Let me just keep it surface, because this could go real deep. But she's supposed to be that fallen entity from the divine light, right? The pleroma, which is the divine light, into where we are, and let's say into the earth, and being cast down. Or she was here, and then her cries went out, realizing that she was fallen. And it's like at the same time that she was known to be fallen, she represents wisdom. Oh, believe me, they speak of her in the Bible. Anywhere where you see them talking about wisdom, they are speaking about Sophia. And so it is said that when she was fallen, that the demiurge was created out of that, or happened. That some stories may say she actually created it, but it's something that happened as that light was fallen to the earth. Then here comes the demiurge. And the demiurge is that, let's say, that dark archon energy, the shadows out of the dark, because she is the wisdom in the dark. She represents the night in the dark. And so the demiurge comes out of that, and then the demiurge is so-called that monster that, she cries out for help. And then eventually the Christos energy, known as, the Christ, comes to, let's say, redeem her. But it is she who gives into the Christ, and the Christ gives onto her. It's really, they give onto each other. But it is for her to be risen now, and it is this redemption. And let me say this, as I said, this is esoteric. So that Christ energy represents the knowing, it represents the knowledge. So it is to know her, her, the wisdom, who represents the feminine energy, who represents the subconscious mind. All of this is your soul. It is to know her and become aware of her wisdom that redeems her. So it's the awareness of the knowledge of wisdom. Let me put it that way, because it's not just, oh yeah, I know her, but it is to bring awareness to that knowledge. Knowledge in and of itself is not good either, right? Because you can have knowledge about a lot of things, but to have knowledge of the wisdom, to have knowledge that is in the awareness of the wisdom, that knowledge is what redeems the soul. And so a lot of us, I say that because a lot of us are coming into this awareness, the humility that we're practicing in the ego death. It is the ego death over and over again, because what happens in the ego death is you're removing the misappropriated ego out of the way. And by doing so, now you have your knowledge is in awareness of the wisdom. We're tapping more into our subconscious. This brings back the wisdom, the wise, the Sophia. This is bringing back, and collectively, this is the redemption of Sophia collectively. And we're helping to bridge that back into the earth during the 5D split. So it's a bigger picture to this. And I say all that to say that this is the bridge. This redemption of Sophia, which is the wisdom within us all. It is everything. That story itself is about the soul. It's just like the Aset, Asar, and Heru story is about the soul. Right? And these are Gnostics' knowledge that was already written within the temples. So this is knowledge was already known. This awareness was already known of, this is the activity that happens. And this is the harmony, the Christos and the Sophia. And they've tried to erase the Sophia, especially after the death of Christ. And, that whole era, the Nicene Council, and that wanted to completely exit her out and then discredit her wherever she may have shown up. And they fragmented her even in her existence throughout the Bible. They fragmented her in the Eve story. The whole Adam and Eve story is also coming out of this story of the so-called fallen Sophia, who is said to have curiosity to come into, the lower realms in search of the light. This is the story that they play, right? And that was the default, that she stepped out on her own without her counterpart, which sounds just like Adam and Eve, right? The default was she went and went and eat an apple, and she was without her counterpart. She roamed away, right? That's a whole nother, I'm not gonna get too deep into that. But the exciting part is that this here, the information that was brought to me by, I must say, Djehuti, because that's that Mercury energy. So I want to bring this back to highlighting Mercury retrograde, because I want to speak about it in this way, right? And this Sophia is really deep. I want us to understand it before I move on to Mercury, that this redemption of this Sophia energy, the archetypal Sophia energy, is really you. It's really me. It's us. It's we. And we are bringing the rise of that feminine energy that is being restored because of the awareness, because of the knowledge, because of the risen Christ in us. The Christ consciousness as a super conscious mind is bringing back the awareness through knowledge of wisdom from what is in the unknown, and saying, now I know her. Who is her? The feminine energy, the memories, that houses memories, intuition, not just wisdom, but intuition, understanding, and memories. The memories that is what's helping us to even travel the way we're traveling through time and make connections with our past lives. These are key memories within our cosmic bloodline. And as we work on that, the more we work on that, it's very interchangeable, right? As the redemption of Sophia within us, and as we participate in the remembering, the more it unlocks the key codes, the more we tap into the memory in our memory complex and are able to go deep into our soul's consciousness, across timelines and past lives. Ashe. And then it works interchangeably the other way as well. The more we're able to tap into those past lives and retrieve certain information, that's going into the unknown, right? Because it's beyond what we know here and now. When we're able to tap into the unknown of our soul and re-know with wisdom, to gain wisdom through remembering these experiences, the more we do that, then the more we participate in the redemption of the Sophia energy. So it's both ways, right? The more we redeem her, the more we remember our soul. The more we remember our soul is the more we redeem the Sophia energy. And this is what the transmission is at this time, as we walk through the halls of Amenti and we clear the illusions and we break these mirrored reflections of illusions. And the more we do that, the more we thin the veils of amnesia, the more we pierce the veils of amnesia, which only helps us that much more tap into our soul's remembrance, and helps us that much more to redeem Sophia. Because, see, Sophia was hidden from us because of this thick veil of amnesia as well. We didn't know where to see her. We didn't know where to find her. We didn't know where to look for her. Although she always exists there as this glimmer, this spark of hope within a lot of us. That's that spark that you get where some of us, like, let's say like that demiurge, let's say that the archons work with, that always want to, beat us down, keep us down. They don't want the rising. They do not want the redemption of Sophia. They don't want that wisdom rising. So a lot of us have been beaten down, but that spark that you get, A lot of times it's like when they say they buried you and forgot you were a seed. So a lot of times but those archon energies meant to do us harm, it really sharpened us for those who have that strong spirit or that strong spark deep within them. It means we've never let go of that light deep within. And it's every time what they did is when they beat us down, when we go through the depths of the depths, and what they thought would ruin us was really the soil that we needed to grow, or the sun, or it's really they watered us, because it's the very thing that pushed us, because the purpose of Sophia was to have that experience. The purpose of the falling of Sophia was to have the experience. So when we have the experience and we choose to still infuse with the light, even if it's a flicker of light, and we choose to infuse with it, it fans the flames, and she gets brighter. The light gets brighter and brighter to return her to the divine light, to the pleroma, as they call it. So this is something we're definitely going to go into. It's a part of the transmission. It's a part of the activation. And we're going to see it along the way. It's definitely something that is a major call to action, to what's happening individually, collectively. And, I'm saying this on Throat Chakra Day, so my throat is just, active with this. So, and today has a day number 2. It's the harmony of duality, as I'm speaking about that duality, which is the Christos and the Sophia. We're restoring that harmony of duality. So it's not just the Christ. It is the Christ and the Sophia. It is putting back a balance, that harmony of duality, knowing that that is the mobility of how we move through one mind consciousness. Ashe? So, thing to note with this Mercury, with this Djehuti energy, that with this window of Mercury in retrograde, it activates Djehuti's whispers of messages, like I got today. This was some whispers. These were some messages, right, within our soul, right, that fans the spark of light that I just spoke of. So it fans the spark of light within us to ignite the fire of desire to the remembering of the soul's journey. Ashe. So it's remembering the soul's journey during this transmission in time. So this window, this Mercury in retrograde window, which was happening from around the new moon to all the way to the 11th, is really giving us a deep look. So this week right here, this preparation week, is really prepping us for that week of the 2nd through the 7th as what's to come, because we have not only the retrograde, the window of Mercury that's giving us the messages, and these are the messengers, the one who keeps the flame lit in the darkness of anything. We get these hints of messages. That's that Djehuti in us that gives us these messages. It's the archetypal energy of Djehuti, which is now showing up as Mercury. And so with not only that, but then we have Chiron. Yesterday Chiron went retrograde, and all of this is helping with the intrinsic design, with the cosmic connection. And Chiron, who represents the wounded healer. So as Mercury is helping us to travel deep within, to communicate deep within esoterically, that we're even crossing these timelines, Chiron, which is the wounded healer, is helping to bring those unhealed wounds up that have been traveling. Is helping us to see the karmic soot, the karmic imprint that we weren't able to see before. So I invite a lot of you to look at your natal Chiron, and especially if your Chiron is Aries, because our Chiron is in Aries right now, and it went into retrograde yesterday at 27 degrees, and 2 and 7 is a 9. So I'm also seeing the spiritual completion that is to be had. And not only is it in 27 degrees, which is the 9, but it is in a trine to our galactic center. Talk about cosmic connections. It's a trine to our galactic center, which is Sagittarius, a fire sign. So that's the trine, because Aries is a fire sign. So by it being in this trine, it's like it's helping, because it's like a harmony. It's harmonizing with something. So it's helping um, Mercury. It's helping within that window of Mercury. Like when it's like Mercury got the window wide open, and now Chiron is reaching in, and it got the connection. It's like, come on, I got the connection to the galactic center. I got the cosmic hookup. So it's helping us even more to really fall in line with the depths of our soul, with seeing the unhealed wounds with the individual self, with the collective, the ego of the collective, right? With helping to clean up the shadows of the age of the ram, which was about 4,000 years ago, where a lot of these patriarchal rules took place, a lot of the misappropriated masculine that aimed at subduing the Sophia energy. And that's why she's rising right now, because they're losing their grip. And this is the end. This is the last degrees. Chiron is in its last degrees. So this is wrapping it up. And so that energy, all that was those shadows, people have been working on their shadows from the age of the ram, especially with when our north node was in Aries as well. That was to help us remove certain misappropriations of the selfishness of the ego, and to restore us by finding justice through the south node in Libra at the time, so that we can have compassion for the collective, remove the selfishness, so that we can have soul sovereignty, a healthy sense of self. And with a healthy sense of self, you don't need competition, you don't need comparison, you don't need all of these other survival mode things that brings on the shadows of the ram, that causes the ego to feel like it gotta overly protect itself. We're breaking those barriers. So with all that put away, here comes the rise again of the Sophia energy, because it has to lift its suppression. So the more we do our part, we can see how this week is really like a break. This is a breakdown. Like this week preparation is like a chop it up and break it down. Let me break it down for you. Let me chop it up for you here. Right? And then we have even tomorrow on the 1st, 1 degrees of Saturn, 1 degrees of Neptune in retrograde in Aries. So a lot going on in that cardinal sign. And they're all in retrograde. So they're giving us a chance to look back, to relook, respect, relook. And Saturn is that accountability. It's helping us to have accountability with Neptune, who may be caught in certain dreams and aspirations. And Saturn is with Neptune going, no, we're going to work it out. We're not allowing these illusions. Saturn is putting practicality to the spirituality, to those dreams and aspirations, and it's highlighting where you may want to double check what you say you have a dream about, because your dream may be based in illusions, and Saturn is peeling that back. And with Chiron working on the unhealed wounds, because a lot of the things that we hold on to comes out of some of our wounds. And again, with Mercury allowing the communication deep within the soul self to even see all of that, and taking us deep to see the layers of our souls where we may have been holding some wounds from previous lifetimes, to help us understand what it is right now, so that we can release it, we can forgive it, we can forgive ourselves. All of this is taking place, and these are some of the tools. What I'm sharing with you, there are some tools we're going to be given to use for those of us who walk through that next step of the temple activation from the 2nd through the 7th. And we're going to be working with some of these tools to help us unpack some of this, to lighten the load, so that again we can metabolize those light codes, get the most out of this transit in time, get the most out of what our spiritual star, our spiritual sun Sirius is going to be aligned with our temples, and allowing that light to just flood through. The floodgates of the lion gate is going to flood through. But you have to choose you. You have to choose the redemption of Sophia in you, which is the remembering of the soul in you. Ashe, this is a beautiful time. And as I said, it's if you know this is for you, you know that your appetite has been changing, your view, your perspectives, your whole scope is changing. You're releasing, you're having the release that you need to have, and I mean of concepts the way you've never had before. You're suspending, your body is suspending itself. You know, you're finding that you can't even eat the things you thought you could eat because the body's like, no, just no. You might have thought it was going to taste good and you taste it and it's like, meh, I could have had a V8. So, you know, listening to your body, because your body is getting the codes and it's processing. So it's helping to hint to you. And being able to suspend time. Taking yourself out of certain things and not continuing just to go, go, go because you said so. But you're sitting back and saying, you know, no, I'm going to take a break on this one. And this is to remind us, as I say this, because I've mentioned this about this flow of time, us coming out of time to come into time. And it's to remember that we're not here to follow time. This is what we're coming out of. It's not about following time. We're not here to follow time, but to flow with time. When we reconnect with divine time, we're finding a flow. We're finding where it's like, I can let that go. It's not so serious. I can be there. I cannot be there. It's okay. And we're not chasing time, but we're choosing time. We're choosing ourselves within time, and we're choosing how we exist within time. And by being a choice of time, we're recognizing that we are time. And it is our choices that determine our pivotal points on the scale of time, in the cyclical nature of time. So all of this is really coming together. Really, really coming together. And so I wanted to definitely share that with you all as we look at this time. And remember that the calendar too is a tool to help us step out of time, come out of time, and look at a true timeline that can work for you. Now, Shay, with that said, I mailed out the first set. So letting some of you know it's on the way. You'll already be getting it. Some of you I'm waiting on a response for. So don't worry. It's at a 5D corner. For those of you who didn't get it, it's at a 5D corner near you. The Shift in Time 5D calendars that are going to help us right now. Like you can utilize that right now to practice within this time how to get out of time. Right? And it's not just going to take you off just because you got the calendar, but it is a tool that's going to help you start to make the choices that you choose to make to take yourself out of a certain locked in time space. Right? And this is all going to help us redeem within the essence of time that duality, that harmony of duality, and redeem the Sophia within our consciousness of our mind. Ashe. It's time to remember the souls and know that remembering the souls is what you behold, and it's going to bring the redemption to the stories untold. Ashe. So let me leave that right there. Let me not flood y'all with too much. I do want to remind you that time is of the essence, and you have to be willing to say yes. When you say yes to the universe, it will say yes to you. So know what time it is for you as you stand in time. And if this truly resonates with you in a way that you feel the call, you feel the awakening, then you are invited into this temple activation to be guided through, to continue to let Djehuti facilitate our guidance through the halls of Amenti as we continue to pierce the veils of amnesia and come online. Ashe. So with that said, love you all. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.